So yeah, the phone went out, but yeah, I'm back. So I just read in the previous part Genesis chapter 16, and I read the last verse, and let me read it again in case you didn't catch it. And Abraham was 66 old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abraham. So now I'm gonna jump to the book of Genesis chapter 17. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, Yahweh appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty Power, walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and Yahweh talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more called Abram, but now shall be. So his name was Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in the generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a power unto thee and to thy seed after thee. So you see that the Most High made a covenant with Abraham, made it clear again, and I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And Yahweh said unto Abram, Thou shalt keep my covenant there, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. So there you see why we circumcise, it's an everlasting covenant. It's a token between us and the Most High. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskins, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generation. And nowadays is hard. They make it expensive to do a circumcision, and even it's very difficult to get it done on the 8th day. You can, yeah, they actually, here in Holland, they're not doing it. So you do it as young as possible. And the Muslim people, they do it. Why? Because they follow Ishmael, and Ishmael has heard about Yahweh, but the covenant is not with him. you know yes, so he has some other promises that he is enjoying right now on this earth. So let me see. mm, and he that is eight days of old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger which is not of thy seed, he that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with money must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. For an everlasting covenant. Okay, like Yahweh Shai said. Matter of fact, let me jump real quick to that. Let me see the book of Matthew. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. And these are the words of Yahweh Shai, which the world unknowing calls Jesus. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So yeah, back to the book of Genesis, chapter 17 and verse 14. And the uncircumcised man-child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He had broken my covenant. And like we didn't know, the majority of us, and you got a lot of Jacob descendants, in the west coast of Africa, majority of them. But they, we are spread all over the world, also in Africa, all kinds of places, But we keep those customs, Our people keep those customs. And Yahweh said unto Abraham, as for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abram fell upon his face. Then Abram fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And this shows you that nothing is impossible with the Most High. Like Yahweh Shai told his disciples, in the book of Matthew chapter 19. Matter of fact, let me jump to that real quick. Let me see. It's the book of Matthew chapter 19. 19 and verse 26. And this story, the book of Matthew chapter 19 goes about the rich guy, who asked Yahweh Shai what he had to do to enter into the kingdom of heaven. And basically Yahweh Shai told him, like, keep the law, statutes, and commandments, honor thy father and thy mother. And he told him, like, yeah, I'll be doing all those things. Then Yahweh Shai told him, like, okay, sell everything that you got and follow me. And then the man walked away disappointed because, he was a rich man. He had many goods and he couldn't, let go, basically, to tell it in a nutshell. So the book of Matthew chapter, and you can read the chapter for yourself. It's a beautiful chapter. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 19 verse 26. But Yahweh Shai beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with Yahweh all things are possible. And that's a very important thing to keep in mind also, because we got to be aware horrible times are about to come. Horrible times are about to come. That's a fact. So you got to keep in mind that, with Yahweh, how you say that, nothing's going to be impossible, So back to the book of Genesis, chapter 17, and verse, let me see, verse 17. That Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 19 years old bear? And Abraham said unto Yahweh, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. And Yahweh said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him. So the covenant is not with Ishmael, like this Ishmaelites, this Muslim people believe. It's very clear. No, Yahweh said it to Abraham. Let me read it again. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 19. And Yahweh said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee, behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. So he will get 12 princes. It's not that out of him shall become the 12 tribes of Israel. No, 12 princes. And he's going to be a great nation. That's all. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and Yahweh went up from Abram. And Abram took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abram's house, and circumcised the flesh of the foreskin in the self same day as Yahweh had said unto him. And Abram was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. So can you imagine that? Being 99 years old and then circumcised. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin in the self same day as Abraham circumcised and Ishmael his son. And all the men of his house born in the house and bought with money of the stranger were circumcised with him. Chapter 18. And Yahweh appeared unto him in the plains of Marmah, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eye and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself towards the ground. And he said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, for thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourself under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts, after that ye shall pass on. For therefore are you come to your servant? And they said, So do as thou hast said. And Abram hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal kneaded, and make cakes upon the herd. And Abram ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them, and stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life, and lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abram and Sarah were old, and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of woman. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord, being old also? And the Lord said unto Abram, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of an surety bear a child which am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord, Yahweh? At the time appointed will I return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laugh not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And the men rose up from thence and took towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And then basically Let me see. It goes into the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, and talks about the chapter afterwards goes about Lot and the angels. Or they wanted the Sodomites wanted to have the angels, and didn't want his daughters. But I'm gonna jump to the book of Genesis chapter 21. So let me see. The book of Genesis chapter 21 and 1. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age at the set time of which Yahweh had spoken to him. So with Yahweh, nothing is impossible. And Abram called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abram circumcised his son, being 8 days old, as Yahweh had commanded him. And Abram was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And that's also a thing that is still, that is still until this day. A man basically can make a woman pregnant until he dies. Basically your seed. You're gonna be, as a man, you're gonna be able to get a woman pregnant. But nowadays, a woman, they got this how they call that, menopause or something. At a certain age, a woman stop getting a period and stop getting eggs. But a man will continue. So, book of Genesis chapter 21 and verse 6. And Sarah said, Yahweh had made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And when Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking, wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son, because he loved his son as a father. It's normal for a father. That's also a thing. These females nowadays, they like to play with your children. Especially if you have children, they like to play with your children, and they think that as a man, they want to hurt you by keep your child away with you. But this I gotta say to your females, man. If you be doing that shit, hey, the Most High will take care of you, man. You will be punished for that shit that y'all been doing, man. Wicked pieces of shit. So yeah, back to the book of Genesis. Let me see. And the thing was very grievous in Abram's sight because of his son. And Yahweh said unto Abram, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. In all that Sarah had said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And also of the son of, basically also the thing that I said concerning, the females, what they do with our children, because many brothers, and I will not exclude myself, we going through some shit concerning children. But Yahweh Shai told his disciples, that everything we lose now, we shall receive 100-fold. And let me jump to the book of Matthew, chapter 19 again. Like I said, it's a very beautiful chapter. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regenerations, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And every one that had forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. So that's the that's the price where we have to keep our eyes on. That's the price where we have to keep our eyes on. So we will, so, you might be going through some shit. I'll be going through some shit. But at the end, it's going to be very beautiful, man. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. And it's going to be horrible, but we have to endure, man. Be strong. So back to the book of Genesis, chapter 21. Let me see. Verse 13. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away. And he departed and and she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba, and the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs, and she went and set her down over against him, a good way off, as it were a bow shot, for she said, Let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice and wept. And Yahweh heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of Yahweh called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for Yahweh hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and behold, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. And Yahweh opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And Yahweh was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Pichol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abram, saying, Yahweh is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me hereby by Yahweh, that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's sons, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me and unto the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abram said, I will swear. And Abram reproved Abimelech because of a well of water which Abimelech's servants had finally taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who had done this thing, neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe uh, lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What means these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, For these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they swear both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Pichol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called thereon the name of Yahweh, the everlasting power. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. So, and this also shows you how important it is, how important the name Yahweh, which the world unknowing calls God, and the name of Yahweh Shai, who the world unknowing calls Jesus, how important the names are. But basically, I wanted to go into the story to show you that the blessing is with Isaac and not with Ishmael. Let me grab one scripture, the book of Acts, concerning the name. So this is the book of Acts chapter 4 verse 12. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. So yeah, that should be very clear by itself. So yeah, with that, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Wa'aruka Kudash, a double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us the scriptures, among other things, and salutations to Akim across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and in truth. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom.